Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukhasvarupaya Swamine Tapaharini. Namaskar to all of you. Yesterday, you all know that it was 12th of January. That is the birthday of Swami Vivekananda according to Gregorian calendar. So all over India, especially in 1984, the then government of India declared the birthday, that is 12th January, as National Youth Day. From then onwards, in India and elsewhere, they are celebrating that day as National Youth Day. So today we shall try to think about and meditate about some aspects of the life incidences of Swami Vivekananda. A Taliban terrorist who was very thirsty in the desert of Afghanistan was desperate for water. He was plodding through the desert of Afghanistan when he saw something in the distance. Hoping to find water, he hurried towards the spot, only to find a tailor from Sindh province of Pakistan selling different kinds of ties, with coat, tie, hat. It's all the Western suit. In the desert, in Afghanistan, a Pakistani is selling ties. Now, the Taliban, though he's a terrorist, he asked this tailor, "Do you have water?" There's a gun, he can kill him. But now, because he's desperately needing water, he's asking him, "Do you have water?" That tailor of Sindh replied, "No, I don't have water. The well is dry. Would you like to buy a tie instead? They are only $10 each." Now the Taliban terrorist shouted, "You fool! I do not need any overpriced tie. I need water. I'm thirsty. I could kill you, but I must find water first, and then I will kill you." "Okay," said the tailor from Sindh. "It does not matter that you do not want to buy a tie and that you hate me. Even then, I will show you that I am a much better human being than you. If you continue over that hill to the east for about 2 miles, you will find a British officers' mess, army officers' mess. There is an army camp. So there, after maybe some 4 kilometers or 3.5 kilometers, maybe over that hill, you can see the way. You will find a British army officers' mess. It has all cold water and food that you may need." Cursing him, the Taliban staggered away over to the hill and reach that British army camp for water. Several hours later, the Taliban terrorist, he staggered back, collapsing with dehydration, and gasped to this Sindhi tailor, "Give me a tie." Why? Those British mess people, the British army won't allow me inside without a tie. They will not allow me inside their mess without a tie. I have to wear a tie. So now you will understand this incident from the life of Swami Vivekananda better with this thing. What is that? When Vivekananda was in USA, some people used to trouble him because of his Indian dress. He used to wear Indian dress, so they used to push him, they used to trouble him. So once a person asked him, "Why are you wearing such dress? Don't you wear a dress like a gentleman? Wear a dress like a gentleman." Then Swami Vivekananda told, "In your country, the tailor makes a gentleman. But in our country, in Hinduism, it is the character that makes a gentleman." In Western country, all the things is to polish the outside, but nothing inside, hollow inside. But the Eastern culture, and especially the Indian culture, outside you may not be polished, it may look dirty, but inside it is the character which is very, very important. So that reply of Swami Vivekananda is something special to that Western person in America. What is that? In your country, the tailor makes a gentleman, but in our country, it is the character, the quality that makes a gentleman. Now, who is this Swami Vivekananda? Ramakrishna used to tell that Narendra was a great soul. He was a born perfect in meditation, dhyana siddha. We all try to meditate, many of us. But Vivekananda was a dhyana siddha expert, or even before birth, he was adept in meditation. Swami Vijnananandaji Maharaj, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, whom Sri Ramakrishna used to call the Avatara. In his last birth in Ramayana, he was the Jambavanta. So he was Swami Vijnananandaji, direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. He was an engineer. Even during building the Rama bridge to Sri Lanka, he was a civil engineer. He studied civil engineering in the British Engineering College of Pune. He became an engineer, and he was the one who constructed the temple of Belur Math and all the embankments and other buildings in Belur Math. So this Swami Vijnananandaji Maharaj, a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, he was also the guru of one of our presidents. Do you remember? Swami Atmasthanandaji Maharaj's guru too. So this Swami Vijnanananda said, when Swami Vivekananda lived in Belur Math, I felt that the whole monastery was full of light and joy. When he was not there in Belur Math, it appeared a little gloomy. When one entered the Math, one could sense whether Swami Vivekananda was there or not. Now Swami Vijnananandaji Maharaj, his room was to the north of Swami Vivekananda's room. One night, this Vijnananandaji left his room by the eastern veranda and heard a piteous cry. Somebody very piteously crying. So he heard a piteous cry coming from Swami Vivekananda's room. He thought that perhaps Swami Vivekananda was sick and he is having some pain, so he is breathing in pain or crying. So let me see what has happened to Swami Vivekananda. He thought that perhaps Swami Vivekananda was sick. He entered Swami Vivekananda's room and found him crying in great distress on the cement floor. Now Vijnanand is seeing him rolling on the ground cement floor and crying. Swamiji, are you sick? Asked Vijnanandaji. Startled, Swami Vivekananda came to his senses and said, his pre-monastic name, Vijnananandaji's pre-monastic name was Prasanna, Hari Prasanna. So he used to address him as Peshon. Prasanna, I thought you were sleeping. Vijnananandaji then asked him why he was crying out so much. Swami Vivekananda replied, just imagine why he was crying. Swami Vivekananda replied again tearfully, I cannot sleep because I am thinking about the suffering and poverty of our countrymen Indians. I cannot bear the suffering and poverty of our countrymen. How my Indian men are suffering, I cannot bear it. So Vivekananda is crying in his room. My mind is disturbed with agony and anxiety. So I was praying to Master for the welfare of our countrymen Indians. Swami Vijnanananda consoled Swamiji and asked him to sleep, go and sleep. Now you can see what is the heart of Swami Vivekananda. Expansion is life. Contraction is death. We are so selfish, we don't want to think about even our family members. Whereas Swami Vivekananda is always worried about the poor, the destitutes, the troubled. He's praying constantly not for his liberation, but for the welfare of the poor, the distressed. Now you can understand why Ramakrishna bought this great Rishi, the Sapta Rishi. He could have bought some other great person with him down from that higher plane. But he bought this great Rishi from the Sapta Rishi Mandala because of this vast heart, feeling for the poor, feeling for the needy. Ramakrishna had a vision before Narendra was born. Now Ramakrishna himself is telling about his vision. One day, I found that my mind was soaring high in samadhi. You know what is samadhi? Samadhi is a very high state of yoga. When your mind concentrates very deeply, then that state of concentration, very high concentration, is samadhi. So, in that high samadhi, Ramakrishna's mind was soaring along a luminous path. As it transcended higher and higher, I found on both sides of the way ideal forms of gods and goddesses. The mind then reached the outer limits of that region, where a luminous barrier separated the sphere of relative existence from that of the absolute. That is, the formless and with form, from the relative to the absolute. The formless Parabrahman, who is beyond qualities. So, his mind is crossing that sphere of relative existence from that to the absolute. Crossing that barrier, my mind, Ramakrishna tells, entered the transcendental realm where no corporeal being was visible. But the next moment, I saw 7 venerable sages seated there in deep meditation samadhi. It occurred to me that these sages must have surpassed not only men but even the gods in knowledge. and holiness, in renunciation, in love, lost in admiration. I was reflecting on this greatness, on their greatness, when I saw a portion of that undifferentiated, luminous region, the consciousness condensed into the form of a divine child. The child came to one of the sages, tenderly clasped his neck with his lovely arms, and addressed him in a sweet voice, tried to drag his mind down from that state of high concentration samadhi. That magic touch roused the sage from his superconscious state, and he fixed his half open eyes upon the wonderful child. In great joy, the strange child spoke to him, I am going down, you too must go with me. The sage remained mute, but his tender look expressed his accent. No sooner had I seen Narendra than I recognized him to be that great sage come down to the earth to do good to the humanity. Now, later, Sri Ramakrishna disclosed the fact that the divine child was none other than himself. Now, speaking about the deep meditation, that he was an expert in meditation even from his childhood. Once, as a small child, when he was meditating, he was playing the game of meditation with his friends as a small boy. A cobra appeared when Narendra was meditating with his friends. The other boys, no concentration, just closing their eyes, but seeing here and there, mind running here and there. But Narendra was in deep meditation, even that small, as a small boy. The other boys, when they saw the cobra, they got frightened, shouted a warning to Narendra, and they ran away. But Narendra remained motionless. The cobra, after lingering for a while, crawled away. Later, he told his parents, I knew nothing of the snake or anything else. I was feeling inexpressible joy. Once, during his days as a student, when he was in his college days, Narendra had a beautiful vision. While at school, one night, I was meditating behind closed doors, and a fairly deep concentration of mind. How long I meditated in that way, I cannot say. After the meditation was over, I remained seated. Then, from the southern wall of that room, a luminous figure stepped out and stood in front of me. It was the figure of a sannyasin monk, absolutely calm, with shaven head and a staff, that is danda, and kamandalu, the water pot. Danda, you see, the rishis will be carrying one wooden danda with a U shape like this to keep the hand like this to do japa or keep mind at the heart region to raise the consciousness. You see, the rishis will be having that danda, wooden danda, which will be U shape on the top. Down it will be a danda, the rishis will be carrying. So this person, this sannyasin, was carrying a danda and kamandalu, water pot in either hand. He gazed at me for some time and seemed as if he would address me. I too gazed at him in speechless wonder. Suddenly, see, now he's just a college boy. He's having this wonderful vision in meditation. So suddenly a kind of fright seized me. I opened the door and hurried out of the room. Then it struck me that it was foolish of me to run away like that. Perhaps he might say something to me. But I have never seen that figure since. Now, who was that? Swami Vivekananda tells, that it was Lord Buddha I saw that day. So another incidence of, he was an expert in meditation. When Ramakrishna saw him, Ramakrishna could know everything of the past, present, future, everything. So he asked him, Naren, do you see light when you are falling asleep? Yes, I do. Doesn't everyone see that light while they fall asleep? The boy's voice was filled with wonder. He thought everybody, while they are going to sleep, they have this vision of the light. Soon after they met, Sri Ramakrishna asked Narendra this question. He replied. His reply provided Master with a deep insight into the past, the nature and the destiny of this remarkable youngster who would later become Swami Vivekananda. In Vivekananda's adult years, he himself described this supernormal faculty. From the earliest time that I can remember, I used to see a marvelous point of light between my eyebrows as soon as I shut my eyes to go to sleep. And I used to watch its various changes with great attention. That marvelous point of light would change colors and get bigger until it took the form of a ball. Finally, it would burst and cover my whole body from head to foot with white liquid light. All of you sing in the beginning, and even in your house you chant Gayatri mantra. What do you tell in that mantra? Bhargo devasya dhimahi. Bhargaha means that light, the divine light you are asking there. I meditate on that divine light. You are just imagining and praying. But here for Narendra, it was a everyday happening from his childhood. Bhargo devasya dhimahi. So that was the expertise of meditation of Narendra, even from his childhood. Why alone childhood? Even before his birth. When he grew up, when he used to come to Swami Ramakrishna Paramahamsa in Dakshineshwar, now Ramakrishna used to send his disciples and other householder disciples to go to Dakshineshwar in Panchavati and meditate. One day, who were meditating in Panchavati? Narendra and Girish Chandra Ghosh. Aged person, the great intellectual, Girish Chandra Ghosh, the great dramatist, poet. Now, both of them sat for meditation. Narendra went into deep meditation. He sat like a log of wood, not even a little movement. Now, seeing him meditate, he too got inspiration. I too should meditate longer than Narendra. He doesn't know what Narendra's capacity is. He wanted to compete with Narendra in meditation. He sat there. After half an hour or 20 minutes, pain in the legs, pain in the hand, mind is running here, where. He opened his eyes, saw Narendra in deep meditation. 1 hour, opened his eyes, saw Narendra in deep meditation. 1.5 hours, deep meditation. Like that, it was more than 3 hours. Then finally he saw, because you see, Panchavati, full of garden and grass and everything there. And Ganga is flowing nearby, marshy area. Lot of mosquito. If you have gone to Calcutta, you find that problem of mosquito. So much of mosquito started biting him. He couldn't sit quietly. So he was moving about to chase away the mosquito. But Narendra, not even a little movement. How much of mosquito was covering and biting and sucking the blood of Narendra that it looked like a blanket of mosquito was covering. As if a blanket is covering. That much of mosquitoes was covering Narendra and sucking his blood. Even then, Narendra was not aware of the external surrounding. Deep meditation. Seeing that much of mosquito, not even moving, sitting there. Girish Chandra Ghosh got afraid. He immediately shouted and pushed Narendra to chase away that mosquitoes and wake him up. But the seated posture, Narendra fell like this, and he was still in that seated posture, but he was not aware of the external. He didn't come out of that meditation at all. Then with great difficulty, they had to bring him out of that meditation. That was the expertise of meditation. Now, with one wonderful incident, which is very, very important, how we can connect to our life. I will just end my talk. What is that? For the first time, I think that was the second time, Narendra met Ramakrishna. Narendra first visited Dakshineshwar sometimes in the early part of 1882. He entered Master's room by the western door that faces the Ganga. Now, the Master asked him and his friends to sit on the mat and then asked Narendra to sing a song. Narendra sang a song of the Brahma Samaj. What was that? Mon chalo nijo niketone. Meaning, O mind, let us go back once more to our real and proper home. Here, in this foreign land of the earth, why should we wander aimlessly in strangers' guise? O mind, let us go back to our real home. While singing this, when Ramakrishna heard, O mind, let us go back to our real home, that is God, Ramakrishna went into deep samadhi, high state of yoga. When the singing was over, Master now, Narendra, he took Narendra to the northern veranda and closed the door. With tearful eyes, the Master said to Narendra, Narendra, you have come so late. Was that proper of you? Couldn't you have guessed how I have been waiting for you? My ears are nearly burnt off listening to the talk of these worldly people. I thought I should burst, not having anyone to tell how I really felt. Then with folded hands, he said, I know who you are. My Lord, you are the Nara Rishi, the Nara, the ancient sage, the incarnation of Narayana. You have come to earth to take away the sufferings and sorrows of mankind. When they returned to Master's room, now Narendra asked Master, he's a young boy, he's in search of God. He wanted to see God. He went to many people and he was asking, anybody he meets, he will ask them, have you seen God, sir? Have you seen God, sir? Now, the same question again came up. This young Narendra, the youth, he's asking Ramakrishna, sir, have you seen God? Without a moment's hesitation, Ramakrishna replied, yes, I have seen God. I see God as I see you here, only more clearly. God can be seen. One can talk to him. But who cares for God? Who want to see him? People, see, this is very important because it is to us, all of us. People shed torrents of tears for their wives, for their husband, for their children, for their wealth, for their property. But has anybody shed a single drop of tear for God? Please introspect. People shed torrents of tears. Ramakrishna in the Gospel gives an example also. In Kamarpukur, I saw a farmer. His wife was sick and she became unconscious. The doctor came and told, your wife will not survive. She will die soon. The farmer started crying and he fell unconscious. Do you feel for God like that? Can you feel that you have not seen God like that so intensely? Who cares for God? Who wants God? People shed torrents of tears for their wives, husbands, children, wealth, and property. But who weeps for the vision of God? If one cries, if one sheds tears sincerely for God, one can surely see Him. That impressed me, says Narendra. If one sincerely cries for God, you can see God. That impressed me at once, said Narendra. Later, for the first time, I found a man who dared to say that he had seen God, that religion was a reality to be felt, to be sensed in an infinitely more intense way that we can sense the world. Narendra felt that Ramakrishna's words were uttered from the depths of his inner experience. So, Ramakrishna has come down to this earth to show all that in the scriptures about God is true. Narendra has come down to this earth to help us human beings to go towards that high spiritual experience. So, we have heard about the wonderful capacity of meditation of Narendra. Let us meditate on that aspect that will help us to concentrate our mind and go deeper into our self. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.